Hello, we're back with recaps of Who Killed Sara, and today's episode is getting complicated. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like this video, it means a lot. Álex, please take over and recap episodes 5 and 6 for us.
Who Killed Sara? Season 2, Episode 5 shows what happened at Chema's house. After Chema stabbed Mancho in the back, he dies. Clara, Lorenzo, and Chima are in an extremely tricky situation. They bury the body, but it was revealed in the last episode that they buried it on a new building site, and the body will be found. Chema asked me for help, which is ironic. I keep complaining about how I'm an ex-con and I doesn't want to return to prison. Now, he's complicit in covering up a murder. Chema uses this as an opportunity to tell me that he's always loved me and never wanted me to go to prison. I accept his words and I tell him that I will need favor from him eventually. Episode 5 shows that Marifer is still lurking around, and this time she has gained more information, and she's also talking to Nicandro. Marifer tells me that she's glad Cesar is dead, calling him a pig. I am confused that the police never questioned me after Cesar committed suicide in front of my house. I remind the audience that yet again, I'm an ex-con. Marifer sees a video with Elisa's name on it and plays it in my living room, and you can hear Elisa getting tortured. Marifer is panicking, so I tell her to get out of my house. I wonder how I was expecting her to react, knowing that the body will be found. Chema and Lorenzo need to dig up the body. Flashbacks show Lorenzo, Chema, and Clara arguing about what to do with the body. Clara believes they should argue self-defense, but Lorenzo, the lawyer, understands the evidence at play. They have nothing to prove self-defense. In the present, Lorenzo and Chema are digging away. Episode 5 brings forth the next phase of the Lascano family. Mariana and Sofia find out about the death of Cesar, which brings an emotional undertone to the series. Word spreads around the family quickly. The father is dead. Chema is in so much shock that he stops digging with Lorenzo and drives off. Chema and Rodolfo meet up and they embrace. As for Mariana, she starts hurting herself. As she sobs, she hallucinates and sees Cesar behind her. It's time to believe that Chema always had my back and did fight back against his family. Chema begs his parents to get me out of prison. His parents shrug him off, and they do not seem to care that my mother is sick. Cesar calls Chema's words the usual drama, but then Chema reveals that he's in love with me. His homophobic parents are in shock, and Cesar beats him. Cesar then gives Rodolfo a job and tells him he isn't fit to be a man of this family. He also tells him he wishes I was his son, not him. We finally get to see Elisa in episode 5, and she's not in a good way. Sergio talks about how political correctness angers him, and that it's easy to hurt younger people. Elisa spits in his face. In flashbacks, Elisa sees what Sergio is capable of. When she was a young girl, she saw the man abuse women. In the present day, Sergio calls Elisa's family disgusting and believes the mansions and assets should all belong to him. He's bitter as he spent all his life saving her father's life. It isn't easy to gauge what side Marifer is on and what her true intentions are. Marifer, as Diane the Huntress, sends me a video of Elisa getting kidnapped, and I am annoyed that Diane the Huntress recorded it and did nothing about it. Meanwhile, Nicandro and Marifer are hanging out. Nicandro asks, "What did the Lascano family do?" Marifer responds with, "Lascano and Sara," suggesting that Sara is also part of her grievance. When I look at the video footage properly, I realize that Sergio is in it. I check out the vehicle's license plate and the rental place from where the car is from. I dig deeper into Abel Martinez. Flashbacks show Sara meeting Abel again at the psychiatric facility. She gives her father a secret package. In the present day, I am still trying to figure out what the connection is. Rodolfo and Chema head to my place, and Rodolfo wants to know why his father committed suicide. I give them the tape with Elisa's name on it, and explain that she's been kidnapped by Sergio, which is why their father visited him. I ask for their help. Rodolfo is furious and cannot relax. He wants to call the police. He storms out, but I tell Chema that I will help find Elisa. As the episode ends, it's revealed that Cesar faked his own death. He pretended to pull the trigger as someone nearby shot a real gun. However, this can only be believable if the police and authorities are in on it. There's no way they could have passed him off as dead without checking him. They'd be no bullet wound. The opening of episode 6 shows Cesar's funeral, but as we learned in the last chapter, he is not really dead. Flashbacks show Chema asking Rodolfo for help to get me out of prison. However, Rodolfo is conflicted. He knows getting me out means he will go into prison. It's useful to know for the audience that Chema was truly an ally for me, while the rest of the family sat idly by. He was in love with me, of course, as we did have a secret sexual relationship, so he has his reasons to feel heartbroken about what's happened. He calls himself a coward for not doing enough to stop his family. In the present day, Mariana is happy. Chema came to the funeral, but he refuses to say goodbye to his father alongside his mother and walks out. At the top of the church, and alive and well, Cesar watches his own funeral. The episode returns to the day Cesar shot himself and faked his death. The authorities were working with him. I'm a hunter lurking in the shadows, which makes for an exciting final 3 chapters. I have learned that Sergio is using Abel Martinez's name in his identification. When I show Chema and Marifer, they are confused as to why. Privately, Chema is afraid that Mancho's body will be found, but I calm him down. Chema tries to kiss me, but I decline. Meanwhile, Sergio is continuing to torment Elisa. He preps the video camera. Meanwhile, I try to find a link between the videotapes to try and find where Elisa is. It must have been painful for me to play Elisa's video to try and work things out. It's certainly getting too close for comfort for 3 characters. Mancho comes back to haunt them. Officer Morales interviews Lorenzo and Chema. She also wants Clara to be part of the questioning. The officer is curious as to what the connection is between the 3 of us. Clara admits she was afraid of Mancho after breaking up with him. Chema explains Mancho came over, but then he left after making his point. The officer shows photos of the deceased Mancho, but then Lorenzo goes into lawyer mode and asks her if she's accusing us of murder. It took a while, but episode 6 gives context to what Marifer is truly up to and why. Marifer tells Nicandro that her mother Cristina disappeared one day, and she misses her. She explains that she was a saint, and she must be alive somewhere. Of course, we know Marifer's mother worked for the Lascano family as a maid, so all eyes are on them. She's sure Cesar and Mariana are involved, and she plans to compromise Mariana with her grandson, because grandparents will do anything for their grandchildren. It's revealed that she got Clara to bump into Chema and slowly manipulate him to become his surrogate mother, so they could get closer to the family. As for her father, Marifer knows exactly where he is. In a flashback, Nicandro is hit by a car while on his motorbike. Elroy visits him in the hospital and gives him photos. It shows Sara sleeping with Cesar and shows her tinkering with Nicandro's bike. Bruno wants to see her mother at the hospital, but Rodolfo tries to stop him, stating that the birth was complicated, but Bruno passes his father to see her anyway. Mariana also visits, and she worries Sofia, as her only focus seems to be the baby. When Mariana sees the baby, she's extra emotional. She plans on taking custody and tells a counselor on the phone that Sofia is not fit to be a mother. Rodolfo hears the phone call and is disgusted at his mother. In another tragic scene, Mancho's brother grabs Lorenzo from behind and slices his neck to kill him. Chema is mortified. The man he loves is dying. You have to feel for Chema. After investigating thoroughly, I find the location of where Sergio and Eliza are. It's in a graveyard. Cesar turns up, and he tells me he sees me as a son, and he knew I'd find Eliza. I'm in shock, but there's no time for me to figure out why Cesar is alive. Meanwhile, Sergio is in a crypt with Elisa, but then I enter and tackles the man to the floor and I begin to strangle him.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest content. You can also give us a thumbs up if you liked what you saw.